Somebody yelling down from the mountain?
Yep.
Ape Man, Colin, and Shaggy, the prairie land to New Jersey. Disco fries sound tasty, but we know horseshoes are better. They're all pretty tasty refreshments. Oh, forgive me for waiting this long to ask, what's this show about anyway? Who knows? But it's probably totally random. Can we discuss what's going on? Laughing at that man from Florida. Guess what star will die before long? It's like mixing pancakes, tequila, and ramen. So forgive me for waiting this long to ask, what's this show about anyway? Who knows? But it's probably totally random. Now we're ready to review some terrible films. You rated a mess, smile or smirk. But between you and me, pukes the review.
What? I don't know. Just cut out. Stupid.
Oh.
I'm telling you, everybody, abandon Windows. It's a sinking ship. Just go to Linux. That's going to solve everything.
Sure.
Ugh. What the hell's going on? I think it's just... the problem is it's time for a new machine. I've had this one like almost 2 years. It's just time. Time for a new machine. And with AMD's announcement, I got to do it. Did you? Now, I know you guys follow hardware news a lot. Did you see? Did you see the big news?
No, I didn't see the big news. I was up in the North Woods all week.
It's huge. It's huge. It's AMD. They're the biggest. They're the best. They're the cheapest. I mean, they're America and apple pie and mom and everything. I mean, if you're not on the AMD bandwagon, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. If you're not Team Red all the way.
Is it because they got a chip with 182 cores?
No. Well, I mean, they probably do. I don't know. I don't follow their server line, but no. So they same size chip, right? Same size chip, but now 19% faster, 19% improvement in individual processes per clock, right? Zero increase in energy, zero increase in heat. They just made it better, you know? And they're going to sell it for only $50 more than what they're selling their chips for now.
If only we could get that kind of return on our politicians.
I know. I mean, we're going to do 20% better for you, and we're only going to charge you $50 more one time. What? Sign me up now. I don't care what you're part of the pirate party. Well, you got my vote. I'm straight line pirate. Just I'll wear a patch, an eye patch to the polling place. You know? Although I have a feeling this election season there will be plenty of people that will wear eye patches to the polling places.
Not in Jersey because you can't go to the poll. Well, actually, the ironic part is if you had an eye patch, you could go to the polling place because you're disabled. That's the only reason. Only disabled folks are allowed to the polling place in person.
Ugh.
Otherwise, your ass is voting via
who knows?
Hold on.
Okay.
You're voting by mail.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's right. I read an article. I read a headline. All right, I'll admit. I read the headline and maybe the first sentence. All right.
Rona polls. Yeah, well.
Yeah. Why don't I tell you what? We'll do Rona tests at the polling places. All right?
That's brilliant.
All right. All right, step up, grab your ballot, give us your nose. We're going to stick a Q-tip up and touch your brain. And then yeah, and then you can punch the hole. Don't leave a hanging chad. We don't want to have to go through that crap again.
Here is the problem with that.
They'll call it universal health care, and somebody will have a problem with it.
No. The actual problem with that is you would have, in order for the test to actually mean anything, you would have to show ID to show it's really you. And then somehow the results of the election become classified under HIPAA laws.
No, I'll tell you what. Right now, there's very few tattoo shops open. We will employ all the tattoo artists, and we'll issue them numbers, and they just tattoo it on your wrist. No, wait, this is a bad idea. I think it's been done before.
This is a very bad idea.
All right. So,
please do not go any further with this attempt at humor because it's bad.
I have an idea. We'll just put a big letter on their chest, right? That'll work.
Again, another bad idea.
All right. I know. We can make it a shade of red, maybe. That'll work.
Bad idea that was turned into a movie starring Emma Stone.
So, okay. So none of those work. The Scarlet
Easy
Letter.
A, Colin. Easy A.
Yes. So,
I'm just trying to remember if it was.
If it was Emma Stone.
Yeah, I don't think it was Emma Stone.
It was Emma Stone in Easy A. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so,
okay, I guess I don't know what Easy A is.
But
stars mean COVID positive. Yes. So listen, and the number of stars represents. Okay, so
yes,
essentially we're going to have the puke to Schneike scale in stars to tell how contagious you really are.
I got it. Let's just use puke to Schneikes. We won't bother with stars. We'll tattoo a puke to Schneikes rating on you.
Could we please just leave the tattoo part in the past?
Okay, fine.
Can we please get past that?
All right, we'll stencil it on you. It'll be temporary. We'll face paint it on you. We'll employ all the face painters that don't have birthday parties to have.
Okay, here's
print a random number on those I voted stickers.
So
Dune's telling us. So Dune is welcoming us to the neighborhood. That being Twitch.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming. Not Quasi-Land or whatever the hell.
I thought maybe he was welcoming us to like Stalag or something.
Ruski.ru.live.
No, we're not streaming to them yet.
So,
but
speaking of voting, I have found a way for political ads to be even more annoying.
They all. I don't see how that's humanly possible, considering that I was watching. Right now in our state, we have, I think Mike brought it up on the last show, we have a constitutional amendment on the voting to adjust the tax system that we're under, our income taxes, right? I saw, this is like looking at a Starbucks and across the street, another Starbucks. In a row, there was one anti-tax commercial, and then right after that, I was confused. Because it started off as the same commercial, and then it went into picture-in-picture running that commercial, but it was the anti-tax commercial. Or it was the pro-tax commercial going, our competition is spending money running ads like this. And I'm like, you're literally winning one after the other. And this is ridiculous.
So there is a way for those ads to be even more annoying. And that is if you have already voted.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's like I took the census, and then I got 6 letters telling me to take the census.
Yeah.
Did it. Thanks. I've taken the census. I have voted. I am done.
Civic duty fulfilled. Thank you. See you in 2 years.
This is okay. So this brings up a point here. I don't think the people playing Candy Crush are your target political audience, people.
No, they are.
Okay?
Because usually they're the lesser educated.
Okay, but they're going to get more angry that they have to watch an ad, and it's going to have the inverse effect on you.
It depends on what that ad is. If that ad is like a junior high school insult, it could work to their advantage.
I am truly at the point where I just want this friggin' nightmare to be over. Okay? I want to go to sleep for a year. Listen, remember that Mel Gibson movie, right? Where they experimented, they tried to put him to sleep for a year, and he wound up being asleep for like 30 years. And
was that the one that was Forever Young? Is that what that one was?
Yes.
Yep.
So.
And then he aged really quick at the end.
Okay, so I'm going to fall on the sword on this one because Ken was talking about she's doing Sudoku on her phone. I was the one who suggested Candy Crush. Truth be told, my game of choice, my two games of choice are Toon Blast and Plants vs. Zombies 2.
I just like the comment was, some people drink, some people do Sudoku. Because those are the polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Some people, are Boone's Farm.
Both.
Some people are Boone's Farm, and some people are the New York Times.
Listen,
that's the way that it works.
I've tried both.
You can drink and Sudoku at the same time. Just don't look at the numbers after they're sober.
Yeah.
Well, no, listen, that's the best time to do it. Or
there was a new Sudoku type thing out. I saw an advertisement for somewhere. Yeah, there was.
Oh, you're lying.
No.
That was debate bingo. Stop it.
No, it wasn't. It was something else. It was what was it? Damn it, I won't be able to find it now.
No, of course you won't.
But it was something like there were only 3 squares filled in on this huge board, and they're like, "You can solve this." I'm like, "No, I couldn't solve the original one. You're dumb." Oh my God, they have 3-dimensional Super Sudoku? What the hell is wrong with these people? They really need a life.
Sheldon Cooper?
Fictitious person, not real, not even based on a real person.
Oh, because anyone in the Marvel Universe is based on a real person.
I didn't say they were.
Can we?
Except for Aquaman, he's real.
Right. Yeah, okay. While we're talking about, this is a good segue into movies and Colin, you posted something up. I want to know why.
Why he wants to make you mad? Because he's going to add. He's going to add this to the list.
I want to know why. No, I'm telling you, this better not wind up on the list. If this winds up on the list, if one of those damn Elf on the Shelf movies from Netflix winds up on the list, I quit. I'm not kidding.
So that is not going to end up on the list, although it is the thing that has made McKenna happiest so far this year, I believe.
No,
is the fact
I understand that,
but it's not going on the list.
Okay, I understand that it probably makes your family very happy, and please understand, I'm not trying to put down that feeling. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not doing any of that. I'm saying I will have a goddamn aneurysm on the air if I have to watch this. That's what I'm saying. That's all I am saying, because my tastes are radically. Look, y'all are doing Sudoku over here. I'm over here on the other end of the Zoom universe drinking up mezcal like it's going out of style, because I don't want my brain to be able to process any short-term memories of watching movies like that. because I'm a rotten person to the core. And now that I've said all of that, let's go see, because all I've seen is the name on the VMix social. So
Yes.
Okay, so it is not free. Okay, good point.
Okay. So
Okay, and all right, so look, and Ken, you and I, we have very different tastes. I think we can agree on that one when it comes to entertainment. So
and what we're talking about,
I think we cool.
what we're
At least I
talking
think
about,
we cool.
and I hope we didn't, I didn't, miss anything here. But there was a movie that we watched called Ashens and the Search for the Game Child, I believe is what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah.
And the Quest for the Game Child is what it was called.
Quest,
Yes.
yeah, Quest. That's what I'm better.
Which was quintessentially British, we can call it. All right. It was so British, it should have had a monocle. All right. That's how British it was. All right. Now, Mike has an issue with the Brits. All right.
You're damn right I do.
All right. Mike, if he was in colonial times, would have grabbed the wig off of someone and beat them about the face with it.
No, so, y'all know the movie A Fish Called Wanda?
Yeah. It was not about
Yeah.
Aquaman.
I am Kevin Kline's character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wake up, limey fish! Anything limey?
Except for, we did find one thing that you liked.
The IT crowd.
Black's Books. You didn't mind that.
Excuse me?
Black's Books, didn't you? The sitcom. You did not mind that, if I
Oh.
remember correctly.
Hell no. Oh, you remember very incorrectly.
Okay.
No, I had an issue with that. The only British thing. Okay, you probably thought I loved Anna and the Apocalypse too. didn't you?
No. I knew you
Okay,
weren't going to
good.
love that. It was a musical.
Hell no.
Which, by the
It was
way,
a
folks,
British musical.
later on in the second half of the show, we have another musical for Mike to lose his S over. So,
Two.
listen,
How
yes.
did we end up with two musicals? I don't understand.
I'm not sure. I really
I'll tell
don't know.
you why. Because 2020. That's why. No,
So,
here's my thing. The IT crowd, because I could relate to it. I liked
Yes.
it. Anything that has been on American TV but was in British TV first, I actually, aka The Office,
mhm.
aka Whose Line Is It Anyway? I like
Friends.
the original better. The only exception to that rule is Top Gear.
Which you never
Which-
liked.
I ate a lot of peanuts yesterday, and they can go and pick them out because no. And the sad part is, I do like the British one better than the U.S., but I hate them both. Yes, I do have a problem with Britain.
Yes. He wants to go and bend the queen over one of her corgis and, show her what he thinks of her. So,
No, that is not exactly correct because Queen Elizabeth is probably the only royal that I can stand because she drinks.
well,
And she lets people know that she drinks.
you can't not like Harry. What's Harry done to you?
Married Meghan.
Very done.
What? Exactly. Harry hasn't done anything bad.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I watch enormous amounts of British and Australian television.
Well, yeah, you have dual passports. You pretty much
But-
are a Brit.
No,
But-
I just have a computer that likes to take vacations regularly to London and brings back stuff for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, other than what's the most I know about the British royal family is whatever has been in The Crown on Netflix.
Okay. So, anyway, what got Mike's dander in an uproar, all right, is that Ashens is coming out with a new movie in the, universe, in the Ashens universe called Ashens and the Polybius Heist. So now they're doing
Yes.
a heist?
Yes, I just Polybius is a a long-known video game myth. Basically, there was like a story about there was a video game called Polybius, and like a machine somewhere in the U.S. that was set up as like this beta version of this game called Polybius. But as far as everybody knows, it's just an urban legend, never actually existed. But it's like the Loch Ness Monster of video games.
Right. Okay. So, and it's the trailer is bad. All right, let's not lie. All right, it's not good. Okay. Do we want to see a bit of the teaser trailer that they have?
I don't care. I don't care that a whole country doesn't like me. Good. They could have me. They could have signs at Heathrow saying "Do not admit." That's fine.
Well, Mike, good news for you. The signs at Heathrow say "Do not admit Americans in general" right now. Okay, we're not liked by most countries. Okay, even Canada said, fair. "Yeah, no thanks." Okay, so
dude,
what do you got to do to? What do you got to do to piss off Canada? I don't know, a plague. That's what it turns out it's got to be. So, you know.
No, it's having a Cheeto for a president. That's what pissed off Canada.
I mean, we gave him, you know,
we usually take things like that, fry them up, and put them on Putin, eh? Y'all elected him president, eh?
So
take off, you hoser.
So this is what has Mike's, as they would say, knickers in a twist. Oh, and of course we can't freaking hear it, because why would sound work? Why would sound ever work?
Have you ever heard of the Polybius?
It's an urban legend.
It's just a myth. It's way too dangerous.
Of course, and it buffers, and life sucks, and Linux, where the hell are you? Why aren't you to the rescue?
Ashens. I am a collector of incredibly rare but totally worthless collectibles. Whatever. I'm putting together a crap.
I can guess why you're here.
Okay.
I'm in.
Let's roll.
So yeah, it's a ripoff of, Ocean's 11. It's a British ripoff of Ocean's 11.
I'm not commenting on it. Nope.
That's what it looks like.
You guys can dig your own hole on this one. I ain't even going to comment.
No. So
it crashed my entire web browser, by the way.
Oh, okay, good. Happy to know. Woohoo. So always good to do.
Apple just wants to know, what's that called? It's called.
Just look up Ashens.
Ashens and
the Polybius heist.
Heist, yeah.
I think the first one is still up on YouTube, so you can watch the entire first movie if you're still interested.
Yep.
I enjoyed it, but most of the cast is made up of British YouTubers, and so since I regularly watch most of their YouTube channels, I'm like, oh, it's that guy and that one.
Yeah.
What the hell? We're on YouTube. Why don't we have a movie deal? Because we're an interesting freaking bunch of characters here.
I agree, Mike. Why don't we have a lot of things? We've been on the air for 15 years. You'd think we'd have something by now. Paid sponsorship, I got production
an entire
team.
Nation that hates me. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah.
Well, hate's a strong word. They don't like me.
Yeah,
hate might be a strong word.
Yeah,
but trust me, we get too many more British movies that I got to review. We get another Anna and the Apocalypse type movie, a British musical that y'all slip under the wire on me, starring Warwick Davis.
That doesn't
Let's
really
just throw
star
that in there. You throw that in there? Go ahead. And then you'll see hatred. You'll see hatred the likes of which you've never seen before. because I will offend everyone in Britain.
Well, and we don't know.
Guarantee it.
By the end of the night, Topher Grace may hate you. But we won't know until closer to the end of the show.
Yeah. So Mike, what do you think you would hate most? Watching that Ashen's sequel or Elf on the Shelf?
This is a trick. There's nothing good will come from my answer here. What will I hate most? I'm going to say Ashen's because I don't have kids. When I posted the thing on my personal timeline about Netflix doing movies and a series starring the Elf on the Shelf, I had friends who said, great, bad enough I have to, this little bastard, I got to move around every night. So I don't have firsthand experience dealing with the phenomenon or the cultural phenomenon that is the Elf on the Shelf. So fine. I just have this feeling he's going to when I see him, I think he has the voice of Mr. Hanky. Howdy ho, kids. I'm the Elf on the Shelf. Right? So that would annoy me. But not as much as a Brit, as an Ashen's movie would. And that, again, that's just me.
See, I don't know that I think he sounds like that. I think he might sound a little bit different.
So I was just checking to see, because I was curious, is Elf on the Shelf even still a popular thing, or is this the equivalent of them like coming out with a Furby movie? And it turns out, not only they're coming out with a movie, they're coming out with Elf on the Shelf vanilla candy cane cookie cereal.
Candy cane cookie cereal. Okay, let's just give every Christmas loving child sugar diabetes.
I think he might sound more like this.
I know what boys like. I know what guys want. That's a nice muscly throwing on you got there. You know, if you get sweaty and want to take your shirt off, that'd be just fine.
What in the hell are you trying to do? Are you trying to get us thrown off of every streaming platform out there?
Well, I'm just saying that. I think that may be what the Elf on the Shelf looks like, or sounds like.
Which is not far off from Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh.
No.
That's a more muted version of Mr. Hanky. That's it.
Yes.
Colin found the voice. The same way that...
No, but I found a different... What? Dang, I can't get that over this machine. There is a full pandemic safety kit that you can purchase for your Elf on the Shelf.
My God. Really?
And FYI, this is about Ashen, so right off the bat, we have a rule that if it was funded by GoFundMe or Kickstarter, it requires a majority vote.
Or
for us to be ignorant until after the fact that we go,
yes.
How did we miss that?
You know what the pandemic kit is? It's a Elf on the Shelf mask for £3. £3 for a stamp-sized Elf on the Shelf mask.
Oh, apparently that's on Etsy, but still.
Yes, it's an Etsy thing.
Oh, and if you are...
Wait, it's a micro-sized mask?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know people who have Etsy shops that make masks. I think they need to jump on this. Don't forget, you got Elf on the Shelf, you got Mensch on the Bench.
Yes, yeah. Oh my God, some of them are selling for $5.50 for a tiny little mask with a rubber band. You're talking about an inch by inch piece of fabric with a half of rubber band on it.
It's only going to cost you a forever stamp to mail it.
I bet you could do it with a couple of penny stamps. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Somebody makes a freaking face shield for an Elf on the Shelf.
I'm just saying, Shaggy, you could be 3D printing these things.
I'm going to... No. Nope, not going to do it. Somebody made a gas mask for the Elf on the Shelf. Yeah, no. Nope. All right, moving on.
I really wonder, with all of these masks being made and stuff, I'd love to know, is like Joann's, the fabric stores, how well are they doing in COVID-19 finances?
I kind of think that too, because there's been a return to some core things, right? So sewing has probably gone up. We know home cooking has gone up. All these, it's kind of like been a return to basics. We're kind of living in frontier's land. If we could get, a blacksmithing and, horseshoeing and things like that, then maybe we just don't need this new brave world. Maybe we can just roll back the tide. Keep the internet. Let's not go crazy. But, maybe we can. You guys remember that TV show Revolution, where the internet and all electronics went out?
Yes.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we need.
Yeah. Joann Fabric, they're privately held, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but they are. But their stock. Let's see, 1 year.
I would bet that their earnings.
No,
or something.
they're down. They're down. They started the year at $5, and then they're at $2.78. But yeah, they're. Oh no, no! I'm sorry. That's Jasmine International.
Yeah.
And I was saying,
okay, they are.
Joann is private, so there's no stock to look at.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to report their earnings or anything.
No, they don't need to.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the only thing they have is they do have a response to COVID, and they say that they're dealing with a increase in sales. Online order delays and things like that. So, that's the only thing that they have to say on it. Yeah. So that's the only thing that we can say. But I would bet that their sales are up considerably. All right.
Okay, this one, we have to say this for just a second, because Canada sent me a link, and we do have to show this. Sorry. I have to get to the right place where I can paste this link for you.
No problem. And that is one of the schools.
Okay, there you go.
The schools and pubs to close, or the other one? Oh, parents are going crazy. Oh, parents are going crazy for these.
Show the picture.
All right,
please. Someone's taking mason jars and making them into elf isolation houses.
This is
just the silliest thing I've ever seen.
That's stupid as hell.
Yeah, no. Nope.
Like that stupid little face knocked up. Knocked out freaking.
So, moving on from elf-related news, let's talk about something a little closer to the season, because I didn't see this one coming until it was announced today that it's coming to Disney streaming. Does anyone remember the movie back from 1990 called The Witches?
Oh, yeah, well, because I read the book first.
Starred Angelica Houston, otherwise known as Mrs. Addams from the original Addams Family movies. It's a story about how a grandmother and her kids go to a hotel, and there's a witches convention occurring where there's a plot to turn all the children in the hotel into rats or into mice. Disney has remade this movie, 20 years later or 30 years later, they've remade this movie, and now it stars Anne Hathaway.
Yep.
And
Now,
it has
one thing
Chris
to think
Rock
about-
voicing the main character.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So one thing that's interesting about The Witches is that Roald Dahl absolutely totally despised the first movie.
Oh, yeah?
Especially the ending. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this second attempt is closer to the book or if it uses an ending closer to the first movie.
Well, I can tell you Anne Hathaway in the Witches looks like she could be the next Joker in the publicity shots for this movie.
Yep.
If you look at
don't
her,
ruin it. Don't ruin her for me. Don't ruin her for me.
well, I'm just saying that the classic look of the Joker, right, with the exaggerated smile and the the cut lines along the cheek, right?
Well, that's not the classic Joker. That's the one from Batman. Is that? No, that's not Begins. That's the second one. Anyway,
So
The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, Dark Knight Rises. That's the only one that's had the cut lines.
yeah, so in this one, her along with all the other fellow witches seem to take that to heart. Now, I'm sure it's part of the plot line and everything else, but I mean, take a look at this picture, this still from the trailer.
Okay, but
Yeah.
the woman to her left.
Yeah, to her left
Has
and
them
to
as
her
well.
right, both have them. Yes,
Yeah, they all do.
it just
They're wearing masks.
yes, to a degree, according to what I can see in the trailer. But when I saw this and I looked at the trailer, I went, that just looks exactly like the Joker, from the movies. When I saw her, and I was because she was the focal point, I wasn't so much paying attention to the others in the background. It's only when you look at them in a still where you'll notice that the others are sharing it. So I thought that was it's interesting. I don't know how many other people are going to draw a somewhat parallel before the reason for that is explained. So
Yeah.
Now but like I said, yeah, Chris Rock seems to be voicing the key child in the movie, who then gets turned into a mouse. I think Olivia Wilde, if I got the name right, is also playing in this movie. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. We're never a fan of them remaking movies, especially classics. And I had heard that there was questions about whether they were going to redo Hocus Pocus again, another especially popular with women during Halloween time.
Not a remake.
Okay.
Last I heard.
So.
Oh my God. Okay, so now when I look at the trailer, okay, the pictures for the trailer, because I looked up to see who else was in this, and
Octavia Spencer. I'm sorry, I got the name wrong, but yes, Octavia Spencer.
I'm no longer drawing a parallel to the Joker. I am drawing a parallel to Amy from the original Fright Night, when she turns around with the "Don't you want me, Charlie?" and she's got the
Yeah.
Chris Rock is not playing the main character.
Man, listen. Oh
Who
my
is
God,
it?
I'm gonna have nightmares about
Who
this
is
now.
it? Because the voice was so familiar.
He's playing the narrator.
Okay, narrator. The voice of the kid, though, because the kid is the narrator.
It's a little kid named Cody Lee Eastick.
Yeah, that is the main focal child, and it's like the voiceover in A Christmas Story. Okay, so
it's hard to say that because of the original ending of the book versus the movie, and we don't know which ending this one has. So just so you know, the difference between the original movie and the original book was at the end of the original movie, the a good witch turns the mouse back into a little boy again.
Mm-hmm.
In the original book, sorry, dog's barking. In the original book, the kid stays a mouse and is probably just going to live for a couple more years because it's just a mouse. They don't live that long.
Okay, I'm, I don't know which way it's going to end up, but in the trailer that I watched, it was narrated that way. So that's that. Now we did miss a fundamental part of the show, when we first started, and we're now 45 minutes in, but it is Thursday, and tomorrow is Hawaiian Shirt Friday. So it only makes sense, really, that we continue on with our new tradition. And, especially as we get into the second part, and I'm sure Mike's going to start yelling about, I'm tired of musicals. I don't want to hear anymore. I'm banning musicals from all future movie reviews. And, we know we're about 45 minutes away from all that, and if I wanted to review musicals, I'd be on the Tony review board and, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But I think it's probably time to go to the bar. You think I forgot?
We can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Did you think I forgot?
No. Why would we think that?
I don't know. Okay, so tonight is a little bit different. We're going to do more of a contemporary cocktail.
All right, so before you get started,
yep,
I am going to step away and go grab something. I will listen on the stream so that you feel, so I know what the hell you're doing here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so tonight we're going to do what's called Between the Sheets. It's a very simple cocktail. And if you're into the screwdriver or mimosa, I think this will probably be, pretty good for you. All right, so first things first, what are we going to need? We're going to need brandy. We're going to need either triple sec or an orange liqueur. And we're going to need white rum. You don't want a spiced rum. You just want a regular clear white rum. All right, we're also going to need a shaker. We're also going to need some lemon juice and some ice. And that'll take care of our ingredients. So, into the shaker. These are all pretty simple measurements, so it's very easy to do. Of the liquors, all three, you're going to do 2/3 of a tablespoon, or 2/3 of an ounce, sorry. 2/3 of an ounce of brandy. Of your triple sec or orange liqueur. Of your white rum. And then 1/3 of an ounce of your lemon juice. Fresh squeezed is best. Throw in just a few cubes of ice. And the reason why you just do with a couple cubes is because you want to chill the cocktail, but you don't want to cover all that ice with your liquor, because otherwise it'll all go on all the ice, and you won't have anything to pour in your glass. Shake that for a little bit. Then you can put some more ice in your glass. That out of the way. Strain. Then if you're real fancy, get yourself a lemon and a sharper knife than what I have, hopefully. And just throw yourself a lemon wheel on there for garnish. Or mutilate yourself a lemon wheel, which is what I'm doing, so that it kind of looks fancy. And there you go, between the sheets. It should be somewhere between a vodka lemonade and a screwdriver, if you did it right. So there you go. That's your Between the Sheets for tonight. All right, Mike, what do you have?
Well, since I didn't have time to actually prepare myself because, well, honestly, Shaggy reminded me at 7 o'clock that we were going on tonight. I'm trying a different brand of peanut butter whiskey. This is SQRL, Squirrel Peanut Butter Whiskey. This has not had the full chill that Screwball had when I tried that. So, this is much thicker. This is more of a syrupy consistency, but the peanut butter flavor is coming through more than... I would say this is more like a peanut butter liqueur than a whiskey. So if you're looking for a sweeter drink, this might be a good option for you.
All right, there you go. All right. Colin, do you have a drink to add to tonight?
Yeah, I just invented it.
Mm-hmm.
We like
I
those.
took some grapefruit bubbly,
Mm-hmm.
and then I poured some brandy and the same orange stuff you used into it. I don't remember exactly how much. I just kind of poured some in. And it's a drink.
All right. So there you go. This is the drinking portion of tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in. And now, back to the studio.
The only thing I'll say about this drink is because I didn't use anything to measure with, I have absolutely no idea how much alcohol is in it other than probably too much.
No such thing, my friend.
That's kind of what I got
No
told
such thing.
when I did a tester of this. I was told, that's way too much booze for me. Because my wife's always my guinea pig whenever I do a tester of these. So, and then I got asked if I could do up a picture of Tom Collins later on in the weekend. So,
The answer to that is, of course.
yes.
One of these weeks I'm going to be doing a hot buttered rum, but it needs to be colder to make that make sense.
Yeah, we've. It was almost 90 the last few days. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So. All right. So back to topics. Let's see here. There is. Well, let's talk. We talked about the presidential debate on our last show, and since then we have had the vice presidential debate, and there was one thing that stuck out on this debate more so than anything else. I mean, it was literally the only thing that the entire nation could talk about. And Mike, you brought this to our attention, so it's only right that you really cover this story and bring to bear the weight that the seriousness of this discussion demands.
So, plain and simple, folks. America was when asked who won the debate, the answer was not either one of the candidates. The answer certainly was not America. The answer was The Fly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the memes that followed were tremendous. My personal favorite is the one where they zoom in and find Jeff Goldblum in his Jurassic Park pose on Mike Pence's head.
Yes, we're not talking about the 1986 movie, The Fly. We are talking about a real fly that seemed to have been infatuated with Mike Pence's hair and or caught in his hair. We're not sure. Maybe this is what happens when Aquanet goes wild. We don't know. You know, maybe it's a toupee. We're not sure. Maybe Trump put him in touch with his guy. We don't know. You know, we're not sure on these things. We can only speculate like the rest of the world.
Now, the thing that I want to make very clear here is, or I should say, the funniest part about all of this is everybody's making all the jokes about how the fly only went to Pence and how flies are attracted to a certain substance.
Poo-poo,
However,
caca.
there is a YouTube video that is 1 minute and 13 seconds long that shows flies have been landing on politicians during debates way longer than this debate, including those from the other party. So y'all want to try and make that reason or use that for your reasoning to sway a vote. I have not heard a single person that has listened to either of the debates and has changed their mind about who they're going to vote for. These debates did nothing but show just how screwed we are as a nation.
Yes. Agreed. Much like arguing on the internet, a debate has never changed a person's mind. There is only 4%, if you're to believe popular polls, there's only 4% of the public which is undecided as to who they would vote for. Those 4% are most likely not even watching. All right?
Correct.
And if they are watching, they're watching, tuning the channel to something else different because they're going, I'm just not going to show up. I'm just not going to go to the polls if these are my choices.
Now, I refresh my memory. Is it tonight or is it next Thursday that the candidates were supposed to debate, but now they are having individual town halls because neither one of them wanted to do a debate where somebody had the ability to mute them?
The second debate, let's see here. I'm looking. 6 days ago, they announced it was canceled. Okay. Oh, God damn it. Behind paywalls. I hate that. Just tell me the information I want to know. Now that it's canceled, it's been stripped.
Okay. It would have been tonight.
Yeah.
And they're both having town halls, opposing town halls.
Yeah, because who likes it when you can just pull the microphone away from them when their time is up after the rules that they agreed to? Well,
that's just it. They didn't agree to microphones being muted. They didn't agree to...
No, but they did agree to the time limits.
Yes.
The time limits and the respecting of each other's equal opportunity to speak.
And which we all know, he who controls the spice controls the universe.
Yeah.
Right? So...
And there we're talking about the Spice Channel specifically.
Right. So, and over here is Chewbacca.
Yes.
And he is a Wookiee.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's
if that doesn't clear it up for you, I don't know
no.
how to do it.
I don't know either.
I mean,
I don't know either. So, it's just it's insane to think that we have, first and second graders who act better than, politicians, some of which are lifelong politicians.
and the thing that I resonate most with, like, I don't know about the Elf on the Shelf. I told you all about that, right? But
Yeah.
I feel for the parents who have to sit with the children whose assignment it is to watch this debate and analyze
Oh,
and answer questions. Like,
Yeah.
listen, okay, so here's the question. What was the vice presidential candidate's response if their president or whatever, what would they do if the president is unfit to serve for office? Because if that's the question your teacher's asking, you flunk because neither one of them answered the question.
well, not
But
only
that
that, but
happens in every single one, and they never answer that question.
not only
That
that,
is
but
a question no vice president will ever answer.
if you ask,
they did not answer any of the questions that were asked.
if your teacher was to ask you, okay, what is the foreign policy of the Democratic candidate, couldn't answer that. What's the domestic policy of the Republicans? Nope, no clue. There was not a single answer given to any of the questions. You're absolutely right, Mike. And then when they went to answer, they weren't answering the question. They were answering the bickering, going back and forth. They were using their time for the bickering. So it's insane.
At one point, I think Pence even said, before I answer that question, I'd like to use some of my time to go back to respond in the previous. He straight out said that.
Yeah.
No. We have moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was crazy was the moderator had said, we all agreed that we would keep the topics moving along.
yes, well,
Part of the problem was that the moderator's questions were stupid.
Well, but so were the candidates' questions to each other. All right. I sat there and I watched Pence straight up ask Ms. Harris if they were going to pack the courts
the Supreme Court.
if they didn't get their way and didn't win the and they won the presidency, but they weren't able to delay the vote on the open seat by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. All right. Now, there is no way in hell she is going to answer that question one way or the other. And he damn well knew it. All right? Nobody in their right mind would show you their cards. All right? That's just not going to happen. Yeah. They won't show you the cards after they've been elected, let alone before it.
God, we're getting more political.
I know. I was, and I didn't mean to get down political alley. I just meant the stupidity of the expectation was what I was pointing out. Come on, people aren't stupid.
Biggest issue. I mean, look, my biggest issue, honestly, is that yes, the moderators, the questions were stupid. All right, for the most part. Okay, the part about what are you going to do have you had a discussion with the president or a presidential candidate? Have you had a discussion if they are unfit to serve? Okay.
Yeah.
That's so somehow I didn't expect them to answer yes or no. Yes, we've had that discussion. Yes, we had not. Pence, I kind of figured he was going to go down the road that the president is in great health, and we believe in transparency with America. And okay, he bullshitted, but whatever. But then it goes over to Kamala, and while you're talking about transparency, let's talk about tax returns.
Yeah.
Whoa! Wait a minute! You just did a 75-foot leap with a half gainer twist.
Yeah.
To get to that one because there was no segue.
Yeah.
All right. So
her segues are as good as ours.
This happened both ways.
Oh
okay?
yeah. No, it did.
I'm pointing this one out because this one was the most blatant. I don't want to talk about this. We're going to deflect. That was the most blatant one that I can remember.
I know,
right now.
and why didn't both of them just bring up that it's handled in the Constitution how the inability to perform the job is handled?
Because it's not about answering the question; it's about making the question disappear. You don't want people thinking about it. That's why they pivot away immediately to something else.
I know, but you could just answer it very clearly.
They spent 2 weeks training for this in advance, and 90% of that training was about completely ignoring the question.
I know, but I mean, that particular question you could handle very easily and go, well, everybody's doing good right now, but should this ever become an issue, it's very clearly laid out what the steps would be, and boop, they're right there in the Constitution, which is the basis for our country. There you go.
The
Done.
absolute worst thing that she could have said.
Why? It's the truth.
Because you have all these people out there right now saying that she's basically going to be the actual acting president from day one, and that Biden's too old and he's going to be in his he's going to be in his office asleep while she's running the country.
He's 3 years older than Trump. He's not that old. That, by the way, did you see that?
That is what is going on right now.
I know. I saw the
So
I saw the
that is why
Twitter
she cannot
post.
say that.
I saw the Trump Twitter post and the backlash of that one. Did everybody see the Biden for president with the P, X'd out with the retirement home people? That just really pissed folks off and backfired on him. But
I have
whatever.
tried very much.
It doesn't matter
to not.
Yeah.
I've tried very much to stop following mainstream media about this. I'm trying to find actual releases regarding policy and what have you. Truth is, I don't like either one.
No.
I am still this may be the first year I actually do third party candidate better. Well, since 1992.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
I will admit, in 92, I did vote for Perot. I campaigned for Perot.
Yeah.
No, Stockdale was the worst possible vice presidential candidate in the history of the vice presidential office. But
okay, so let's pivot a little bit.
That was
here.
the last time that there was actually a third. There was a third candidate in the debates.
Yeah.
That's the last time I remember there being a third candidate up there. And I really think that they need to.
Well, the last time that we elected
the Libertarian and the Green Party is on the ballot in all 50 states. I know for a fact that Jo Jorgensen, even though she doesn't have a chance in hell, she is on the ballot in all 50 states as a legitimate presidential candidate. She should be allowed to debate.
Yeah. Well, the last time that a non-Democrat or Republican was elected, it was a Whig party that we elected. Tell me the last time
British?
No. Yes, Mike, British. Yes. All right, but the Whigs are who we had in charge. When was the last time you saw a Whig advertisement? All right. A Whig party advertisement. That was the last non-Democrat or Republican party that was in charge. And I only know that because it was a trivia question. I think it was in the 50s, if I remember correctly. Last non-Republican or Democrat president. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Millard Fillmore. Oh, I'm sorry. It was in 1850.
I was gonna say
it was. I was right in the 50s, just wrong on the century. So, yes, Millard Fillmore was a member of the Whig Party and the 13th president, and was the last president not to be affiliated with either the Democratic or Republican parties. So,
wait. Andrew Johnson was National Union.
Wait a second.
That's the 17th, 1865.
Well, then why did, when I posted last non-Republican or Democrat president, did Millard Fillmore come back from the whitehouse.gov? You would think that they would know.
Let me look up this. Let me look up Andrew Johnson to see.
And actually, they say
risk.
Actually, if I look up in Wikipedia, it says 1912, the Progressive Party with Theodore Roosevelt. Only once has one of the two major parties finished third in a presidential election, when not the result of a realignment. In 1912, the Progressive Party with former President Theodore Roosevelt as the presidential candidate obtained 88 electoral votes and surpassed the Republicans, but that doesn't mean that he won.
Yeah, I guess he was. Okay, let's just. Anyway,
it's a great trivia question.
I think you go different lists. They have their own definitions for parties, so it's kind of
But I did find talking about he's not really the current president. I did find something that was very interesting. Did you know that there is a Trump movie? And it's maybe not the movie that you think. But there is, and I have to say I've watched over half of it. And that's all that I could stand, and I can't stand no more. But Mike, did you bother to watch this?
No.
No? Well, you're going to see some of it now. And Colin, get ready, because this...
Is it British?
Nope, it's not British.
Good. No. No.
2044,
No.
Advanced artificial intelligence robots drained the Earth of her natural resources, leaving the once thriving planet a barren shell. Adrift in space, the human race fights its toughest battle ever. For survival. A Chinese clone of the 45th U.S. President Donald J. Trump.
Okay.
Oh, yes, a Chinese clone. Oh, and the damn sound goes out on me again.
His petri dish-grown body, fused with the latest AI technology, possesses eternal life and large hands. During his escape from Earth, Trump's ship crash lands on Mars. Unable to leave, he exists for 1,000 years on a barren prison planet of his own making.
Aleister Crowley, the true scourge on the living.
It seems every time I try to get out, Illuminati moves me back in. What a strange trip this life is.
You're the one aiming to destroy our Illuminati! Donald Trump!
Call me Trump.
You're coming with us! Turn around and raise your hands!
If you insist. Computer, play Trump's favorite playlist.
The shit is this?
Suck on that.
That worries me deeply.
What, that the Chinese are trying to clone him, or that it's a real movie?
It worries me that that's really like, okay, knowing that some people are believing, they go off of random things being posted on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who would take that movie very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they would.
Yeah, the flat earthers and, the 5Gers, those people.
Oh, the people who believe that there actually is an Illuminati and Trump is fighting a secret law against them to save them from eating babies. I mean, yeah.
In the back of a pizza shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I looked it up. So apparently, in Lincoln's second term, he technically was not a Republican. He was National Union Party because they combined the Republicans and half the Democrats into a separate party, and that's what they actually elected. So it's kind of up in the air.
Okay, so let's pivot to something a little bit more uplifting. Let's talk about COVID-19. because that's the. Well, it's more uplifting than politics right now, which is sad, but true.
Frick kind of segue.
I was in a meeting recently where we had two people on the meeting. One who was just recovering from it, one who had it back in July. And so they had this brief little conversation of what it was like to actually have COVID.
But,
I'm just sitting there on the meeting going,
look at it this way. You didn't need a Ouija board, so they survived. That's a positive,
Yep. Because they were both runners, like marathon runners, and they said, the one who had it back a couple months ago is like he's just now getting back to the point where he can run again.
That's what did it. You should tell him not to run. I only run when chased, and that's how I stay so healthy.
Here's my thought.
Yep.
COVID enters the body through the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
If the more air you breathe,
mm-hmm.
the higher your risk of getting COVID is.
That's right.
By running, you are breathing more and heavier
so heavily
and faster. So you're consuming you're consuming 3 times the amount of oxygen that I'm consuming by working in my office in front of the computer.
That's right. I stay as sedentary as possible, and if I have to have sex, I demand an oxygen mask. That way, it's only clean, fresh air that's coming into my body. It looks a little weird, but it's okay.
So you're saying that COVID-19?
I'm just saying.
So you're saying COVID-19 is actually a plot from Ocean Master, Aquaman's brother, because it goes through the lungs. So they don't use lungs. So this is the ocean people attacking us.
I don't know that we've heard of any sharks with COVID-19 yet. When we do, there'll be a movie.
They might bring Sharknado back.
Oh, God. So, all right. So let's talk. I think I know where you're going with this about how COVID is splitting families apart.
Yeah, because you end up with these families, and I can talk from a little bit of personal experience here, where you've got dichotomies of belief. Just like politics, in all honesty, can drive a wedge between families. Where you've got maybe a liberal side of the family and a conservative side of the family or whatever that this COVID has really split some families apart by people who take it seriously. And people who think that it's no big deal and want to continue life as was before COVID-19, and everywhere in between. I'm not going to say that it's just those two extremes, but you do end up with, and we actually have a story here that we'll link to about how it can really drive wedges in between families. I mean, you can have two sisters, which is what it is in this, where they're completely split apart. One sister thinks it's a conspiracy theory and there's no such thing as the virus, and the other sister had the virus, had to be hospitalized, and is now recovering slowly from it. And even within my own family, I kind of see that same thing. My wife and I take it fairly seriously. I work from home. We call. We have we order online. We pick up groceries. We don't even go into the store. We have them dropped off in the trunk. I can count on one hand the number of times we've been in a store, and always we prefer stores which have mask enforcement in place. Are we afraid that if we get it, we're going to die? No, but who likes being sick? So it's the things that we're religious about washing hands and everything else. So, whereas you end up with other sides, I can, my parents won't be mad at this, but my parents, are out there traveling the world. They're going to archery meets and they're, hanging out with other people, and my dad gets mad if there's a mask enforcement in a restaurant and things like that. So, I mean, we have these two parallels that they don't coincide. And so when we have to get together, there's real friction there because my wife doesn't understand why my parents are so cavalier about it. They don't understand why she is so concerned about it. And, I'm kind of stuck in the middle trying to mediate and say, hey, why doesn't everybody meet halfway about this? Why don't you just keep your distance and, you don't freak out if they're in the front yard or in the backyard or whatever. And, we'll just try and, kind of make this work. So, I mean, it's like I said, it can be very separatist for families because you can have this situation. And it's something to be concerned about. And I think that it is driving wedges in between families. So, and I don't know that we have the answer to that, but I just wanted to bring it out there and say, hey, listen, this is happening. And if you think you're alone and that your family is the only one that's dealing with this, you're not. You're not, and you're not the only one making fun of it. So, don't feel like you're alone. We've had these kind of serious moments on the show before where we want to let you know that, hey, everybody is going through this. This is a trying time, and some people want to pretend that it's over or that I've heard my dad say himself, oh, this is all going to be gone come November. Once the election's over, there's going to be no more virus or anything else.
Yeah, that's...
and I'm just like, on my side, I'm like, come on. I looked up to you when I was younger. You can't possibly believe that. You're a smart person. I don't think there's a global conspiracy and hundreds of thousands of people dead, it's like saying that we faked the moon landing. All right. So many people involved, it would be impossible to pull off a hoax of this proportion. All right. And what the severity of the actual situation is probably somewhere in between the extremes. So it's extremely unnerving. And I was just wondering if you guys you don't have to admit if you have personal experience with this, but, if you are familiar with what's going on, be it with yourselves or with other people that and like I said, don't insinuate yourselves or your families in this if you don't want to. But, if you can just understand where I'm coming from.
Colin,
and both in the past, and I mean, before we actually were all sent home, I had to wonder, how seriously some people were actually taking it before we finally left the office. I remember being very worried back then because I was still in the office. And I got to say, every time someone cleared their throat somewhere in the room, I just about wanted to run out of the building at the time.
Yeah.
And so, it's just,
And at the beginning, there was very much a paranoia. There was you didn't want to sneeze, you didn't want to cough, you didn't want to do anything because you thought, oh, everybody's going to think it's me. I'm the pariah of the office. Everybody's going to hate me. When in reality, it's just dusty in here and I can't help it. And now we've been living at home for so long.
So, Kim and I, we respect, Jersey is a little different because we were part of the epicenter for the longest time. So the masks, that's been our reality probably since April. And you still have people that are fighting it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, come on, this is really... So when we would go out, it's a pain in the ass, damn, I forgot my mask. I got to go back to the car. Hold on. We would go to the grocery store, but we would try to do it on off hours when we knew they weren't going to be busy. We did do a lot of shopping from home, but we also frequented the smaller grocery stores, that we knew they were taking extra precautions, not Walmart. Mm-hmm. Today was actually the first time since March or before March, maybe February, that I was inside the Walmart. And, I felt okay about it. I was actually so the reason we're doing the show on a Thursday was because from Sunday until yesterday, I was actually up in Maine with my father-in-law. And that was the first time I've actually done any real traveling. Now, it wasn't really a trip that I could postpone because the whole point of going up there is to help him do things to get ready for winter up in, northern Maine. Really couldn't postpone it. I had to go. But traveling, so seeing it like the rest areas in other states was a little weird. And Kim made it very clear to me, like, okay, we live a different idea of, or we pretty much know what we're getting into. I had to go up there with the mentality of whatever I'm doing, I got to make sure I'm protecting him. He's 80, going to be 86. So at the rest stop, I'd go in, go to the bathroom, wash my hands, order something to eat, from Burger King or McDonald's, whichever one was there, grab it, out to the car, hand sanitizer in the car, eat, throw it out, get gas, get back in the car, hand sanitizer again, and then on my way. Taking the extra precautions, whether it was a placebo or not, it's a little thing that I could do to make sure I was doing everything I could to not carry that virus to him. Now, the interesting part was I really didn't feel like on the way up, everybody was pretty much compliant. I didn't see anything where people weren't wearing masks at the rest area. Everybody was kind of keeping their distance. And on the way home, I stopped at the gas station right before I get on the interstate up by him. And normally I would go in and I'd get a cup of coffee or something else for the road. And I noticed that the attendant's not wearing a mask. And a woman walks in not wearing a mask. I said, I don't need that coffee. Oddly enough, that was the first time I ever looked at it. I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to go in there. And I just got in my truck. And coming back, I saw a couple of people in rest stops that didn't have face covers on. I was like, that's literally the easiest thing you can do to show consideration for your fellow man.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So why not do it? And there's all different kinds. All right. It's not like they're telling you to wear an N95. Like in the beginning, everybody was like, well, oh, you can't get N95s. Oh my God. You have to wear a surgical mask. You can't find them anywhere. Oh my God. There's so many different kinds now. Okay. There's so many different styles. Even the ones like the original ones, like your mom was sewing versus the origami style that they're sewing now. There's all different styles, all different fits, all different materials.
Yeah, those masks are about protecting others, and N95 is about protecting yourself. Yes. And that only really works if it's properly fitted, and so you really have to be professional for that to really do anything. Now, here's the question I find... Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, talking about the supermarkets, I thought about this while Shaggy was talking. Back when we first, I'm going to say maybe around March, April timeframe, we would go to BJ's, and when you went to check out, the security person was behind a steel thing with the glass, and you put the receipt down and slide it to them. They wouldn't touch it. They'd look at it and then they'd go. Now they just they just wearing a mask. So, and there's a piece of plexi, like a stand between them. But everybody still has to wear face covers. So you can see that we are starting to get a little more loose with our distancing and not with the face covers, but we are starting to understand a little better about how far do we really need to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was, I'm going to be interested to see what happens after COVID. What is the post-COVID world going to look like? Let's say we get we get vaccinations, so we all get our shots, and so COVID really isn't circulating around so much anymore. What happens with the masks? Are the masks here to stay? Because I kind of hope they are. I don't necessarily think that, everybody, every time they go out in public, needs to be wearing a mask. But I am kind of hoping that anybody who kind of feels like either they've been exposed to someone with a cold even, or have a feeling like they might have a cold, wear a mask.
Well, there was a thinking that this flu season might be lighter than normal because we're wearing face coverings. Because we're being proactive against COVID-19, there was a thought by the medical community that the flu might not be as communicable this year as it has in years previous because we're taking those steps. And folks, we're not alone in these steps. It's not, hey, let's pick on the U.S. Let's pick on our citizens and nobody else in the world is doing this. There's a number of countries in the world which have made this national law. All right.
France, I think France just rolled back and did a 2-week mandatory quarantine now. Or mandatory face coverage. So countries are rolling back.
Yeah, and I was reading a thing about a country in South America that instituted it, within their borders, that masks were required anytime in public. So that it's being applied. It's not just let's pick on the poor Americans and trample on their freedoms. But back to the point. I mean, it is a divisive thing. We are seeing that, and we just want you guys to know that we recognize it and we know that it's out there. And we're not belittling people that yearn for what was, all right? We're not saying that they're wrong for wanting what used to be, all right, for the way that things used to be, where you could come and go as you please. You didn't worry about giving a stranger a hug. You didn't worry about kissing Aunt Ethel or anything like that. It's right to want those things back, all right? But it's not right to want those things back at the expense of someone else, okay? That's where you start to be selfish. And, that's really all that we talk about. We're all about having fun here, but we're not having fun here at somebody else's expense, at least not in the long term. We'll poke fun at somebody all day long in the short term, oftentimes to their face if we can. But, we don't want to seriously injure anybody. And, we want you guys to be honest with us too. So, but that's a serious point for our show. And now we'll try and get back to the funny, I think. Let's, in a somewhat related but kind of funny note, there was a Insider.com article about a mom who found a convenient way to deal with remote learning.
What are you doing?
What? I'm pivoting real quick because I think it's going to be it's a 2-minute story, and I just want to get a little bit of funny in here. So, a mother of 6 had actually a mom of 8 had trouble finding enough room in her small house for all of her children to do some remote learning because all the kids now are learning from home. And she wanted to enforce there's a time to learn and there's a time to play. Mike has his home office. Most of the time when he's in the home office, he is working. That is his place to sit down and do work. I once went to a seminar where a guy said, listen, I work from home, but when I get up in the morning, I put on a tie, a shirt, a collared shirt, and a tie. And come 5 o'clock, I change my clothes and I change into something more comfortable. The reason why is because that's my uniform. When I'm in my uniform, I'm working. When I'm out of my uniform, I'm not working anymore. And the same thing kind of has to go towards kids. They need a regiment, they need a routine, and some of that is reinforced by where and how they work. So this mom found a way to solve both her space problem and her need to be able to get them into the mood. She went out and bought used office cubicles and is starting to condition her children that this is the way life is going to be for the rest of your career. And she set them up in her lounge.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, calling it a lounge.
It's a living room.
Yeah. Second, you look at this picture on this story, and all these kids are kind of smiling except one. It's got that look like.
Except for the white girl who's like, wait a second, I'm
So-
the receptionist.
She well the one up front here, she don't.
This
it's
one?
hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else seems to be happy that they're learning, but that one in the back, she's looking like, listen, I should be on the pole right now. You know, she's got a different career path ahead, and I'll leave it at that.
Do you think she's the affirmative action hire?
No, I think she.
That was a
'cause
joke.
even in the second one, she's the only one who's not smiling. All right, we got a better look at the one up front, the girl up front, the one all the way in back. She's the one who is not smiling.
Yep, true.
She is not happy.
She's pissed.
She is the delinquent. She is the one that is smoking the doobies.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Or maybe she's the one who has braces.
Could be.
You are just pissing in my Cheerios, man.
So, but yeah, I thought it was nice. It gives them a sense of normalcy and plenty of laughs. They all have a great sense of humor about it. So,
I thought you were going to tell me that they were that the cubicles were preparing them for future state work.
no, because we'd have higher walls, and OSHA requires us to have more space than that.
But also, honestly, let's be real. We were talking about changes the world post COVID. I don't think there's going to be office environments like there were. Period.
No, I don't think so either. So, all right, now on to our double feature movie review, which this week is more like the Tony Awards, possibly.
AKA Mike's friggin' nightmare.
So it'll be
an Instagram filter to watch these with a British accent. I'd have been hanging myself.
So yeah. We normally have a rule that we only allow one musical per night, but in this case
No, that was never a rule, but it is now.
It was an interesting watch because I watched both of these today. Because I decided let's just hate ourselves. So
Follow my hills up in Maine because I was sleeping in a room with no less than 9 firearms.
And you didn't use one?
That.
So all right.
Yeah.
So we had Prey TV and Opening Night. Prey TV available on Amazon, Opening Night available on Netflix. So which one would you like to start with, Mike? I will give you the option.
Let's do Prey TV.
Okay, Prey TV. And Colin, let's start with you.
Okay. Prey TV is a weird place in the movie resume of Dabney Coleman because it was in between two movies that made Dabney Coleman famous. It was just after 9 to 5 and just before I can't remember the other. Anyway, he was still nobody pretty much when he decided to be in this movie. There's no way he would have been in this movie after. This is a movie about a UHF movie. Oh, then that sounds familiar. It's a UHF TV station. And it basically runs as just a bunch of skits of a guy who's supposed to be the bad guy, but he's played by Dabney Coleman, who actually turns the TV station into a real place, but then tries to steal the money, but then shows up at the end. I will claim that this movie has one of the worst endings of a movie I have ever experienced. Because usually at the end of a movie, you don't have everybody, everything is bad. They decided to sing a song about how it's a great ending. But they lost the station. The bad guy really didn't get anything happened to him. It's not like he went to jail or anything. He's there at the end. And I found myself wondering, well, why did the station close? Because he's still there, and he probably has the money. I don't know. I just everything about this. This movie is important for one reason only. This movie is the key evidence in the case that Weird Al Yankovic's movie UHF is a work of masterpiece. Other than that, this movie is just it is way below meh. It's not quite puke, but I was nauseous. So let's go whatever one above puke is. Let's go.
That would be Verp.
Verp.
Verp it is.
Okay.
All right. I'll go next if you don't mind, Mike.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So imagine if UHF and Leap of Faith, starring Steve Martin, had a baby. All right. Now that baby would be Prey TV. You know, most people don't know Steve Martin's Leap of Faith movie, but you should. All right. And other people don't know Weird Al Yankovic's UHF movie, but you should. No one should know Prey TV, because you shouldn't. All right. The only thing I kept thinking during this movie was Weird Al Yankovic kind of took this idea and did it 100 times better. And does Dabney Coleman have a writer in his contract that all of his co-stars have to have huge boobs? I'm curious. Just tell me. I just got to know. You know, because 9 to 5 was before this movie, and then this movie. And so after that, his star kind of slid down a little bit until he picked up War Games. War Games was 83, so that's probably the one that you thought War Games and 9 to 5 bookmarked to this film, Colin. You know, I don't think he hit another big hit until Cloak and Dagger later on in the late 80s. And then you just pretty much never heard of him again. Yeah. This movie has a bunch of, hey, those guys. You know those guys. They were in, you know, late 80s movies, but not enough where you know their names. And it was the Krishna Quartet was an interesting act. The rapping rabbi was interesting. You know, the acts that they interviewed were more interesting than the rest of the show in its entirety. All right? And Hans and Franz from Saturday Night Live got their skit from whatever in the hell the workout duo was on Prey TV. All right? So some good ideas came from Prey TV, but Prey TV wasn't a good idea on its own. All right? This movie took way too long to get over, and it really, what was weird was, just as the crescendo hit, I thought, okay, great, I've got another hour. But luckily, I didn't. I had another 10 minutes. So at least it ended quickly, which was good. So I am going to give this one a Verp, just like Colin. It's not something you should watch, but if you get stuck watching it, just know that at least it's over quickly. All right.
And it was
It was what?
Tootsie.
I would have said War Games.
Yeah, but that's what made him actually well known as a character actor, was the combination of 9 to 5 and Tootsie. And after that, his name was pretty much made, and he would not have been in Prey TV after those two things. Not saying he was, you know, the new Tom Hanks at any point, but he was then an established, you know, so he would show up in You Got Mail and stuff like that as a dependable, well-known character actor.
Okay. Maybe.
Take it away, Mike.
All right, Mike.
All right. I wasn't planning on watching this while I was home. This is the one I was planning on watching while I was in Maine. Holy 4:3 format, Batman. Can't say I'm surprised, though. And it's funny. We all I think this is the first time that the three of us were almost 100% on the same page about a movie, because I started to feel that this was either an asylum version of UHF or this was the inspiration for UHF. And the fitness duo, the on-screen, big screen debut of one Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman. Comidas de Niños. Asking for a friend. Is it even allowed in this day and age? Or is this offensive? I'm asking for a friend. Crummy little Jap TV sets. What the hell? When was this made again? In the 80s or the 60s? Now we have a Hasidic speaking jive. How is Amazon not getting in trouble for having this movie? Religious vehicles. Now I'm going to say that I would buy that van that they showed for $9.95 and immediately vinyl wrap the ever loving out of it to make it look like an A-Team van. Half this movie is watching the shows as they would have aired. Very confusing. Now it's starting to give me a Noises Off vibe. Noises Off with all the backstage crap, kind of like Noises Off meets WKRP. 30 minutes left in this movie. As bad as it is, I refuse to tap out. This is a matter of wills at this point. The Prisoner Song. We may have found a movie that crossed that line. And for that scene alone, I have a problem with this movie. Arabs are just wealthy Mexicans. Let me throw the air quotes up real quick because that's a line from the movie. That is not my statement. That's a line from the movie. What? People who believe that actually believe that dolphins are just gay sharks. And here's the reason I hung in there. I saw that Devo was in this movie. You know, Whip It. Devo. Devo is Dove. Dove is Devo. They just pulled a Warwick Davis on me. 30 seconds of airtime in this movie. And then there's a damn musical number to end this thing because, oh, well, why not 2020? So, once again, we are all on the same page because I gave this a verp as well and said, go watch UHF instead.
Oh, if it wouldn't kill the machine, I would go pull one of the commercials because I did love the vehicle commercials, and maybe I'll try and pull them for the next show because I love the used construction equipment.
Could have been from UHF. That's
What?
true. Those could have been from UHF.
Yeah, I
Could have
did
been.
love that. So the next one that we had up was the Netflix show Opening Night. So Opening Night, a 2016 movie, rated TVMA. Just so that you know, in case you were planning on watching this with your kids, don't. Colin, again, we'll let you go first.
Okay, Opening Night. So first off, it took some doing to make sure that we were watching the right one. There are way too many movies out there, even relatively recent ones, named Opening Night. So I'm pretty sure I watched the right one because it had Topher Grace in it. This is a musical with JC from NSYNC, who's like the headliner of a opening Broadway musical about one-hit wonders. So the one good thing about this is, yeah, most of the songs in this movie, loosely calling it a movie, are actual one-hit wonders, so they're not just like all show tunes, but some of them you're like, wait a second, I actually like some of the other songs from that person. But okay, whatever. There are parts of this movie which I typically do like musicals, so the fact musical is not a problem for me. But the plot of this movie is like it has too many holes in it. But there's a lot of laughing. I like Rob Riggle. If you do not like Rob Riggle, and I know there's a lot of you don't even think about watching this movie. Even if you are like the biggest Topher Grace. Anyway, if you're like the biggest fan of Topher in the world, and if you don't like Rob Riggle, just don't even try. Again, terrible ending. The ending just didn't seem to work for me. I thought I knew where the movie was going. I would have been happier if they'd gone with a route that would have made more sense to me. Because the lead character is someone who was headlining a Broadway thing and it failed. Like it closed on the first day it opened. Which is a relatively famous thing that really doesn't happen that often on Broadway. I think it happened to Yul Brynner. That's the biggest story I know is that Yul Brynner had that happen to him. The King and I guy. So it's hard to say. It's a musical. It's a bit raunchy in places. It's I don't know. I think I'm going to give it a meh. Because I did laugh at some of the jokes, and I didn't hate it quite as much as I did Prey TV. But I can't give it anything better because it just wasn't done. This could have been good. I know Mike is going to hate it. There's nothing that could have been done to fix it, but I think it could have been interesting, and it just in the end wasn't.
So
all right.
What did you give it? Sorry.
He gave it a.
I think that's good, man.
All right. Okay, my turn. Opening night, Topher Grace. You know what? I haven't seen that much with Topher in it. I honestly wasn't a huge That 70s Show fan. Liked it, not great, but caught it every once in a while. Probably the most memorable thing I know from him is the Ocean's 11 movie where he was in it for like all of 2 minutes. But I like him. He's not bad. Anne Heche is in this movie. Rob Riggle, as Colin said, is in this movie. There's a lot of people who Leslie Margarita. Boy, I want to find more with her in it. Yes, want to find more with her in it. If you like Leslie Margarita, this is a show for you. I think I said it right. I hope I did. If not, feel free to come here yourself, Leslie, and correct me. Door's always open. So, yes, this is a movie about the behind the scenes, really, of a play going on, of a musical going on. You really get to see the what's going on from the showrunner perspective. Topher Grace plays the showrunner, and Rob Riggle is like the owner of the production house. He's the one who's calling all the shots. He's the financer, that kind of thing. So you see what can go wrong on opening night. And as Colin alluded to, Topher Grace is the showrunner because he failed on his what he terms as his one shot. And you find that out, which is why he can't go on stage anymore, why he can't perform anymore. So what you end up with is this, kind of love story between him and Chloe, played by Alona Tal in this movie. And it's great because you also have this little side thing going between Taye Diggs and Leslie Margarita for this new guy, this new Mexican character in the chorus line. So there's a lot of little things going on here that keep the storyline moving. Colin said he didn't feel like it was finished or that it had more potential. I thought that it wrapped up really well. I thought that the characters kept moving along. I enjoyed a couple of little post-credit scenes. So don't forget to watch those if you watch this movie. Again, I watched this today during the day, so I won't say that my eyes were on it 100% of the time, but it was a good movie. If you like 80s, 90s, one-hit wonder type music, early 2000s, then I think you'll like the music in here. And to say it was a musical is a little bit off base. Yes, there's music sung during it, but it's all music that you know. It's not like it's not like King and I musical, right? These are songs that are explaining what's going on, but they're songs that you would know from the radio. So that's one of the things that I like about this, because I typically don't like musicals either. But yeah, so I thought this was a good movie. I'm actually going to give it a smile, and I'm going to roll this up and see if the wife would like to watch it, since she didn't get a chance to watch it, because I think this she might get a few giggles out of this one. So yeah, I give it a smile. And that takes us to Mike the Ape Man.
Well, it's a movie about musicals, but it's TVMA, so maybe this will be tolerable. As long as nobody has a British accent, we might be okay. What the heck is it with New York City apartments and entire walls being made of glass? I want to live somewhere where everyone else can see what the hell I'm doing, I don't even like having neighbors as close as I am now, and there's walls between us, let alone windows. And yes, Topher Grace, you are the man, okay? I do think it's cheesy when casts randomly bust out into musical numbers. No one can play the bass guitar unless they are on drugs. I know people that play the bass guitar, and I am going to remember this line. There it is. This was produced by Topher Grace. I'm seriously starting to get another Noises Off vibe from this GD movie. It's suddenly taking a terrible turn. I have a pit in my stomach, and it's not because we finally got our eyes on Anne Heche. Here's the crap that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. There is no reason for J.C. Chazé to bust out in the song backstage at this musical. Another backstage musical number. I am going to fight every single one of you. Now, Tay Diggs is singing one of my karaoke jams. He just ruined the bad touch for me. And now it's a dance-off. Somebody please explain to me what the hell's going on here. Please. So now the movie is part Rock of Ages, part Showgirls, because you got TNA hanging out all over the place, part Noises Off, because it's all the backstage drama behind the scenes, and let's top it off with a dash of The Hangover for the little pill mix-up that happened. Inviting a girl to a threesome is a way to make things up to her. And she's happy about that invitation. She gets to get into bed with two gay men. Maybe Broadway ain't such a bad place after all. I mean, shit, I don't know. And here is the corny-ass tie-in musical number to make this entire thing whole. Thank God, credit blooper scenes. That makes everything better. That's like redemption sauce. Guys, I've never been so torn about how to rate a movie before. On the one hand, this was a musical, and I have my standards that we all know I despise musicals. But then at the very end, okay, Alana Tall, who found somewhat alluring, but at the very end, Topher Grace gets the girl, and that's how it ended. And I found myself smirking at that point. So that's what I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a smirk.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So high. So high.
Oh my God, so high right now.
I did love that the homemade bong thing or whatever
Yeah.
made the bass player unable to barely even hold his bass.
Yeah.
What do you have there? Do you have markers? Duct tape? Dude, you got to step it up. It's just, I love it. So, yeah, no, great. Okay, so now we have to pick for next show.
1 to 29.
I just can't figure out how the one who does like musicals gave it the least score.
I don't know. 6. It's a musical.
I'm
problem.
afraid it is no longer available on Prime.
Okay. 9.
Oh, damn it. This one I know is available because it's a Netflix original. Coffee and Kareem.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it should be available.
Wait a minute.
I saw it the other day.
Why is it?
Coffee and Kareem. Watch
Okay,
now.
it's there. Okay. Okay, when I logged in, the pop-up didn't come up. Okay.
A 12-year-old scheme to scare away his mom's new boyfriend, police officer James Coffey, backfires, exposing his family to a secret network of criminal activity.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this one because, well, I like Ed Helms in The Hangover and The Office, but not much else. So
Well,
this could be a problem.
It seems to be a love-hate. Either people are giving it 5s or people are giving it 1s. What will we rate it? That's what matters. 18.
Another Netflix original,
Oh, it's a Netflix night.
The Wrong Missy.
Oh, this is a David Spade.
God friggin' help.
So disaster strikes when a man invites his dream girl to an island resort, but a previous blind date shows up instead. This is a Happy Madison production.
We're fucked.
Starring
Wait,
Lauren...
was that out loud? Was I muted? I'm sorry. Oh my God. Wow.
Starring Lauren Lampkus, David Spade, Jackie Sandler, Sarah Chalk, and Nick Swartzen.
She was in opening night.
Lauren Lampkus? Yes, she was the assistant.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, she was.
Wow. I do like it when we have links like that.
Yeah. When the random number generator comes out. Man, I think he pulled out everybody, because also in this movie is Vanilla Ice. When was the last time you saw Vanilla Ice in a movie?
I rewatched The New Guy while I was up in Maine.
Okay. Oh, and of course Bobby Lee is in it. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting movie.
Sarah Chalk's in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Molly Sims. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Swartzen. Okay, this one actually may not be too bad.
No, hopefully
Ryder,
not.
Of course.
Yep. So,
I'm not going to lie.
It shouldn't be too bad. So, all right. So, with that said, folks, our next show will be on the 26th. That's right, the 26th will be our next show, as it's scheduled right now. And so, you can look for us in just a little over a week. that's how it'll work. So we obviously don't have any public appearances coming up. We do want you to make sure to check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that other fun stuff. Don't forget you can always tune into the show on our podcast. PTRradio.com has all the information on how to subscribe. In addition, it's got information about all us hosts and ways that you can individually contact us and the complete history of the show, pretty much. What else do we got going on, guys? Anything else important that they need to know about?
Wear masks.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
It'll be our, the next show will be right, it'll be the show before Election Day. So obviously we're going to do our election, guesses, our election predictions. And, if certain people are to be believed, we won't have a show after that because the earth is going to crack in two due to the friction that the election is going to cause. So who knows? But at least we'll get one more good show in before then. So anyway, everybody stay safe. Stay sober when you can. And make sure that you tune in, like I said, in about 2 weeks. So we'll see you then. Stay up to date with everything on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. So that's really it, folks. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.